In 1975, a 17-year-old boy sat inside a prison cell, caught for stealing credit cards. Everyone thought his life was over. Today, that same boy is worth $40 million. Back then, teachers gave up on him. People said he would never be anything, but they were all wrong. Now, a big 5.9-acre home sits quietly in the English countryside, and it belongs to him. No fancy cars outside, no cameras following him around, just peace and money made purely from being smart. A TV quiz show paid him millions just to talk. Harry Potter audiobooks still bring him money today. Big Hollywood movies put his name on the global map. Books about Greek myths sold millions of copies. Smart investments grew silently in the background. Every step was planned. Every dollar came from thinking, not showing off. And now, the name behind all of this finally comes out. Stephen Fry. From stolen cards to peaceful estates. From prison to millions. Next, we find out exactly how this journey began. Stephen Fry came into this world on August 24th, 1957, in Hampstead, London. His father was an inventor and a physicist. His mother was a woman of deep culture and education. But his family also carried pain. His great-grandparents were killed in Nazi concentration camps. That dark history shaped young Stephen early. He grew up thinking deeply about words, identity, and what it means to be human. And he was smart, passing his O-levels at just 14 years old. But being smart wasn't enough to keep him out of trouble. As a teenager, he stole a credit card on Chaux and got caught. The punishment, 3 months in prison. Most people don't come back from that. Most people with criminal records don't become national heroes. But Stephen Fry was different. That prison cell became his wake-up call. After getting out, he earned a scholarship to Queen's College, Cambridge. There, he studied English literature and joined the famous Footlights Drama Club. And in that club, he met a young man named Hugh Laurie. A friendship that would change both their lives forever. Cambridge gave Fry something he never had before: credibility. Hugh Laurie gave him something even more valuable: a creative partner. But here's the thing about the 1980s. Fame was coming fast. Fortune, that would take much longer to arrive. The early 1980s opened a brand new chapter. Stephen Fry's career kicked off with a show called The Cellar Tapes. Then came There's Nothing to Worry About. After that, appearances on cult British comedy shows started rolling in fast. Fame arrived quickly, but money didn't follow. Fry became a household name across the UK. A bit of Fry and Laurie made audiences laugh. Jeeves and Wooster showed his acting range. Blackadder turned him into a national treasure. Britain absolutely loved him, but his bank account told a very different story. These projects gave him something valuable: credibility, but they didn't make him wealthy. Television salaries in 1980s Britain were surprisingly small. Fry was respected, celebrated, and admired by millions. Yet he still wasn't rich, not even close. Imagine being recognized in every restaurant and every street, but still having to worry about paying bills. That was Stephen Fry's reality for almost 2 decades. Then, something changed. Fry stopped just being a performer on other people's shows. He started becoming the format itself. He didn't just appear on television anymore. He became the show. Blackadder made him a star. Jeeves and Wooster proved his talent. But one show was about to change everything. A quiz show that seemed far too smart for regular television. A brand new show launched on BBC Two. It was called QI, short for Quite Interesting. The idea was simple: a panel show where being wrong was funnier than being right. And the host, Stephen Fry. But Fry didn't just sit there and read questions. He became the heart of curiosity itself. Every episode, he was witty, sharp, and endlessly charming. The show ran for 13 years under his guidance. And the money, it was serious. Reports say Fry earned between £200,000 and £300,000 every single year from QA. But it didn't stop when he left in 2016. Reruns and international licensing kept paying him long after. Over time, QI alone brought in an estimated $14 to $20 million in total value. One show, 13 years, tens of millions. Most quiz show hosts can be replaced easily, but Fry was completely irreplaceable. His personality wasn't just part of the show, it was the entire product. And that product kept paying. Year after year after year. Q, I proved something powerful. Intellect could be turned into money. Curiosity could become a business. And Stephen Fry had plenty of both. Q, I built a strong foundation. But Fry wasn't going to stop at British television. Soon, Hollywood came calling, and he answered, very strategically, Gosford Park. V for Vendetta, The Hobbit trilogy. Stephen Fry started showing up in films that reached millions around the world. Not as the lead actor, but as unforgettable support. Every single role made his name bigger, and his earning power stronger. Then American television came knocking. Bones, 24, Live Another Day, The Great Indoors, later, The Sandman, The Dropout, Heartstopper. Fry became a face that Americans recognize too. Hollywood film salaries for supporting roles can vary a lot, but every project added something important. Visibility. More visibility meant more opportunities. More opportunities meant more income streams. And Fry understood this perfectly. He didn't chase leading roles like other actors. Instead, he picked projects that matched his strengths. Intelligent characters, distinctive voices, classic British charm. Hollywood didn't define him. It simply amplified who he already was. These roles weren't his creative legacy, but they were smart financial decisions. Every appearance raised his global profile. And a global profile meant global earning potential. Hollywood added millions to his growing fortune. But here's something most people don't realize. His quietest income stream was also his most consistent. It wasn't his face on screen. It was his voice, playing softly in your headphones. Voice work became Stephen Fry's quiet money machine. No cameras needed, no costumes to wear, no traveling across the world, just a microphone. And that unmistakable voice. It became the most profitable whisper in British entertainment. Fry narrated all 7 British Harry Potter audiobooks. Every single word, every single character, every magical moment, brought to life through his voice alone. Millions of listeners around the world fell asleep to Stephen Fry reading about Hogwarts. His voice became inseparable from the wizarding world itself. The numbers are incredible. Those Harry Potter audiobooks earned Fry an estimated $2 to $5 million. And the royalties, they still arrive today. Every new generation of listeners means another check in the mail. Passive income that simply never stops. But Harry Potter wasn't the only voice job. He played the Cheshire Cat in Alice in Wonderland. He voiced Danger Mouse. He narrated documentaries and recorded countless commercials. A steady, low-visibility income stream. Perfect for his personality. Voice work needs no red carpets. No paparazzi chasing you down. Just pure talent. Recorded once and distributed forever. The perfect income for a man who deeply values privacy. Voice work paid him quietly. But Fry had another engine running. One that would turn wealth into something permanent. The written word. Stephen Fry is not just a performer. He's also a prolific author. Autobiographies, novels, mythology retellings. Books that sold millions of copies around the world. Mythos, Heroes, Troy. Fry took ancient Greek mythology and made it easy to understand. One bestseller after another. Readers who had never touched Homer suddenly couldn't stop reading Fry's versions. The numbers tell the real story. Typical author royalties range from 10% to 15% of book sales. With millions of copies sold, Fry's publishing income added up to tens of millions. Not overnight, Madiyam, but over decades. Slow, steady wealth that grows with every single reprint. Think about it this way. A single book might earn thousands, but a whole catalog of bestsellers earns millions. Fry didn't write one book. He built an entire library, and that library keeps paying him long after the writing stopped. Writing turned temporary income into permanent assets. Books don't retire. They just keep selling. Fry's mythology series alone still generates royalties today. Words on paper, converted into money in the bank. QI Hollywood, voice work, books. But Fry didn't stop there. He pushed even further. Advertising, speaking fees, tech investments, building wealth from every possible angle. Stephen Fry didn't put all his eggs in one basket. He spread his money around like a smart businessman. Advertising campaigns, corporate speaking, tech investments, multiple income streams, all running at the same time. Big brands came calling with big paychecks. Marks & Spencer, Twinings, Direct Line, Walker's Crisps. They all paid good money for Fry's endorsement. His voice, his face, his credibility. Each campaign added more to the growing fortune. the numbers get even more impressive. Keynote speaking fees, $50,000 to $100,000 for a single event. Early tech investments in Sumley, later sold to Yahoo. Stakes in Y-Plan and Roxy added millions more. By the time Fry reached his 60s, his income didn't need him to show up anywhere. Royalties, voice work, books, investments, an estimated $3 million or more coming in every year without appearing on any screen. Wealth that generates itself, the dream of every entertainer alive. Today, Stephen Fry's net worth sits at an estimated $40 million. Built slowly, built thoughtfully, built almost invisibly. A fortune made from intellect, not flash. And with that kind of security, he chose a lifestyle to match. Fry could have bought mansions in Mayfair, yachts, supercars, flashy displays of wealth. Instead, he bought something completely different. Time, silence, and a Georgian estate in Norfolk. West Bilney, a tiny village near King's Lynn in Norfolk, far away from London's busy streets and cameras, deeply connected to Fry's childhood memories. This is where Stephen Fry chose to call home. The property stretches across 5.9 acres of peaceful land. Carefully maintained grounds surround the house. Room to breathe, room to think. This isn't a celebrity escape, it's a thinking space. A home that feels grounded, not built to impress anyone. The architecture tells its own story. Georgian design, symmetrical lines, dignified proportions. High ceilings fill every room with air and light. Tall sliding windows frame the beautiful countryside outside. Original moldings and shutters remain, not as museum pieces but as living parts of the home. Inside, the space unfolds beautifully. 5 large double bedrooms, 3 full suites, 4 separate living rooms, each one serving a different mood. One for conversation, one for reading, one for entertaining. The house changes personality depending on the day. A south-facing conservatory brings in modern light. A separate guest house adds 1,457 more square feet. A heated swimming pool sits beside a thoughtfully designed pool house. Luxury that whispers, never shouts. This Norfolk estate explains Stephen Fry better than any interview ever could. When wealth arrived, he didn't buy louder surroundings. He bought silence, space, time. But Norfolk wasn't his only property. In London, Fry owned an apartment in the SW1 area, close to Westminster, near broadcasters and cultural centers. Not a grand residence, just a strategic city base. Practical, well-positioned, private. Then came America. Between 2015 and 2016, Fry and his husband, Elliot Spencer, bought a home in the Hollywood Hills. $1.8 million. Built in 1920s Spanish style. Arched lines, warm tones, classic Los Angeles charm. But the Hollywood chapter was brief. Fry tested American life, then returned to England. Norfolk remained his true home, the place where he could think, write, breathe. Most celebrities collect properties like trophies. Fry collected them as tools. London for work, Hollywood for exploration, Norfolk for actually living. His lifestyle mirrors his personality perfectly. Private, controlled, deeply intentional. Vegetarian since 2017. Devoted cricket fan. Loyal supporter of Norwich City Football Club. The properties tell part of the story, but the man inside them tells the rest. His relationships, his struggles, his brutal honesty. The personal life behind the private fortune. Stephen Fry has been openly gay throughout his entire public life. He always addressed his sexuality with his usual wit and charm. In 2015, he married comedian Elliot Spencer. A quiet ceremony, reflecting his love for intimacy over spectacle. His closest friendship has always been with Hugh Laurie. They met at Cambridge, built careers together. Fry served as best man at Laurie's wedding. He's the godfather to Laurie's children, brothers in everything but blood. But the defining part of Fry's personal life is his mental health. He lives with bipolar disorder. He has attempted suicide multiple times. In 1995, he suffered a severe breakdown and disappeared for days. But instead of hiding, Fry confronted it publicly. His documentary, Stephen Fry, The Secret Life of the Manic Depressive, won an Emmy. He became president of the mental health charity Mind, using his platform to normalize conversations around depression and survival. Then in 2018 came prostate cancer. Surgery removed his prostate and 11 lymph nodes. He spoke openly about the diagnosis and recovery. treating it not as tragedy, but as another fact of survival, fortune, privacy, struggle, honesty. Stephen Fry's life isn't a fairy tale. It's a strategy, executed with charm and courage. And the result is a life most people will never fully understand. This is how Stephen Fry made tens of millions of dollars, not through one big break, but decades of smart decisions. QI, Harry Potter, Hollywood, books, investments. He could have been flashy. Instead, he chose invisibility. A teenager who went to prison, now worth $40 million, living on a 5.9-acre estate in Norfolk. The smartest money is often the quietest. Stephen Fry, the quiet millionaire. If this video revealed a fortune you never knew existed, subscribe. We explore the wealth behind the wit. What surprised you most? The prison sentence? The royalties? The mental health honesty? Drop your answer below.